friends. Have you met Lou? I feel like maybe you have, but I'm starting to kind of lose track. I know Cade has a dog that looks a lot like this. Does anyone else have a dog that looks like this? This is called a teddy bear dog. She is half Shih Tzu and half Bichon. And I tell you what, she has been a godsend during this pandemic to just kind of snuggle with. And I mean, look at her. You know, I don't know what I would do without her right now. And I'm sure some of you have pets, and if not, maybe you have that special stuffed animal or what have you. Knock it off, Lou. But yeah, we just love her. She's so great. But I wanted to show you my new llama. Okay, fine. I wanted to show you my new llama. Well, actually, it's not new, but I don't know if any of you guys have seen it before, and I thought you would like that, so I wanted to share. Okay, I am going to switch to my other camera. Okay, I'm back, and the first thing I wanted to do, because I haven't done this yet, I wanted to just kind of recap an activity that you did last week, where you had to cut out some fossils, and you had to arrange them and create a Flipgrid, and it was so fun to watch those Flipgrids. I had so much fun watching those, and I was really amazed by how well you guys did on this. I think I've already told you that, but I wanted to show you the answer key really quickly here, which I think you can see. This is the answer key, and most of you guys did a really good job of kind of realizing that in the fossil record, which is kind of our first piece of evidence that we have that things have changed over time, is the fossil record and fossils, that we have kind of one path that, you know, there was a variation that took place because of a mutation. There were a couple of variations. There was one where these little legs were kind of came about, and one where the head kind of changed a little bit. And over time, also, the tail changed, and the last version was where the head became very kind of aerodynamic so that it could probably swim better. And on this side, the variation, because of a mutation, resulted in an animal that was able to be on land and has these legs. And one thing that I noticed was that many of you called these little segments bodies, like, oh, it got another body. And it was just interesting because there was a lot of kids that described these little circles as being bodies. And I think that perhaps a better term for that would be a segment, because it's kind of a segmented body. And I think for the most part, people did a really good job at kind of visualizing, like, what would have been that gap fossil? What would that gap fossil have looked like? So I just wanted to review that really quickly. The other thing that I wanted to review with you was the lab that you did on Tuesday, which was the homologous structures lab, where you had to take some pictures and, you know, tape your fingers in different appendages. So you had the one version where it was just your regular hand, and then you had the other version where your thumb was taped, and then the other version where the whole hand was taped so that it was like a flipper. And I have to tell you, I laughed so hard looking at those different pictures, and I loved it when I could see your faces. Not everybody did that. I even had some people that threw videos in there, which was really fun to watch, and hopefully you had fun with that. But the main reason for you doing that is really just to learn what the term homologous structure means. So I wanted to just kind of look at that really quickly. So I'm going to go back to this picture here, which is homologous structures are another piece of evidence for evolution, which only means that life has changed over time. and also that we can kind of hypothesize relationships. So the human is probably more closely related to the cat because their bones are more similar to each other, but yet it's also related to the horse and the bat and the dolphin because they have the same bones but just in different sizes. And also that those bones, or those appendages rather, have different functions. So homologous structures is another big piece of evidence for evolution, and also kind of putting together the picture of the relationships between different species and kind of how that has changed over time. So today we're going to look at another a study of kind of like a discipline, which is called embryology. I'm going to pull that up really quick. So embryology, if you see this picture here, is the study of how living things develop when they're in an egg or in a womb. And what's really interesting is that you can kind of learn about how closely related things are by studying them as they are in that pre-born state, which is called an embryo. And so another big way, too, that we can look at how closely things are related is by studying their DNA. And obviously, you know, DNA, if we compare our DNA to even to the DNA of a banana, we actually have 60% the exact same DNA of a banana. And, you know, you could compare your DNA to your brother or sister, and it would be 99.5% exactly the same. So there's a lot of things that we can learn by studying DNA, but there's also a lot of things that we can learn by studying embryos. So you are going to take a look at embryos as a piece of evidence for evolution today. So just to recap, we started with looking at the fossil record and what that teaches us. Then we looked at homologous structures, which we also call comparative anatomy, so comparing body structures of animals. And now we're going to look at kind of a third piece, which is called embryology. And so I'm going to take a look real quick with you at what you're going to be doing today. So you are going to go to Google Classroom, and I have 3 really cool videos that normally I would have shown you during class over the course of a few days at the beginning of the class hour, and we would have had a discussion and whatever. But, you know, we're kind of putting everything together, and I have those 3 quick videos for you to look at. There's one where it shows you a human embryo developing inside of the mother's womb. There's another one that is really, really cool that shows you a chicken developing inside of an egg. And these are both only a couple of minutes long. And then there's a third video, again, that's only a couple of minutes long, and it just shows you what embryos can teach us about evolution. And the last piece, the assignment for you, is the evolution gizmo. So again, you need your username and password for that, and if you forgot that, again, remember we wrote it down in our binder at the beginning of the year. If you don't have your binder or you really can't find it, you can email me and I will send you your username and password. So the evolution gizmo, when you open that up, it will make a copy for you. And I thought I had it on here, but I'm not seeing it. But I would like you to type into the boxes. It just makes it a lot easier for me to find your answers when I can just see them in the boxes. And I'm interested to see what you guys come up with. And I miss all of you, and I hope that you are persevering and continuing to work hard. I know many of you are, and I really appreciate that. It makes my job feel like it's purposeful, and hopefully it makes you feel like you're, you know, having some success and purpose in your life. So again, continue to work hard. We just have a couple of weeks left, and I will see you on Tuesday next week. Have a great day.